going on, we
with a
couldn't
big
keep
sign
control
on
of
it,
it.
and that's
So I know that
a temporary sign.
it's a good busy,
But
but
they
it
leave it
gets,
there all the time.
you get a lot of
You
phone
know,
calls.
that's what you start having, is this trash and
customers.
stuff. People are real creative when they're thinking about coming up with ideas.
I'm for having the restrictions, and then if we need them, we have the laws in place.
But here's my thing.
Boy, he's tough.
Yeah, right on time. And we were.
My guess would be no.
All good?
How are you?
Take my shoes off. 2 thumbs up and 2 toes down. The Yankees won.
Did? So you are a happy camper.
Can't catch the Red Sox.
Okay, everyone, it's 5:30. I'm going to call this meeting of the Planning and Zoning Commission to order. I'm glad to see everybody out here in the audience. Welcome to the meeting tonight. Our first order of business tonight will be to consider the approval of the minutes of the July 19th meeting. Commissioners, any comments, questions? Then I will accept a motion to approve or deny these minutes.
So moved.
Didn't get, motion was made by Mr. Petronis and seconded by
I'll second.
Meta. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Thank you. Okay, our first case tonight will be a public hearing. This will be case number RZ 2017-003. Jeremy?
Applicant James Randall Thompson is requesting a rezone of the property located at 203 Morgan Mill Road, being lots 18 and 19A, parts of Block 13 of the South 5900 Sims addition to the city of Stephenville, from residential, single-family district to retail and commercial district. The comprehensive plan is business park, which translates into retail, commercial for this particular use. The property is served by a 16-inch city water main. Property is served by an 8-inch city sanitary sewer main, both off Morgan Mill Road. The property fronts Morgan Mill Road. The existing zoning in the area is requested is single family to the north, south. I think I got from what I was told, the east and the west wrong, but private club and retail commercial. Staff has no objections to this rezone of the property located at 203 Morgan Mill Road.
Thank you, Jeremy. I'll now open the public hearing, and anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of this rezoning, please come to the podium and give us your name, address, and tell us why you're in favor of this.
Hello, I'm Carrie Hale. My address is 150 North Harbin Drive, or is my business residence, or business address. I'm here representing Mr. Thompson as his real estate agent.
Great, thank you.
The property was purchased in August as a rental investment for Mr. Thompson. And my broker, Ronnie Singleton, then talked to him about could it possibly be an office for our real estate office, and that would allow him to have a 3 to 5 year lease and make more investment into the property and improvements to it rather than just rely on 6 month to a year leases with residential lease. Mr. Thompson has been a part of the community most of his life. He's the owner of Palcon and has other investment holdings, and saw this as an opportunity to get involved more in the community, not just out at Bluffdale, and provide a new business venture. If I could add, the other thing that just kind of to be aware of, there is a buffer around the building because of the floodplain in the area. The area where the house and small barn are located now are outside of that floodplain, and so it basically where something can be built there's something already there. And on the property that borders the back, the south and east side of the property can't be built on because of the floodplain situation.
Okay. And you said earlier you had some extra information?
Just the elevation map of that
Okay.
and a survey, if any of you would like to see that.
Commissioners, would you like to see this information?
The building at 203 that's on the property,
Yes.
is that where this real estate agency is going to be located?
In that house, yes.
That's the red brick house
Yes.
on the corner?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, and then it's anticipated then the remaining area would be developed for
It
business potential.
really can't be developed because of the floodplain. You can't build,
So are you telling me that the only thing that's going to go on that property is going to be the real estate agency, the building itself?
Well, as of right now.
I guess I'm asking, you say that you're in the floodplain, so I'm asking whether or not you intend to put in potentially other businesses to be located in there or
Well,
what?
it'd be kinda hard to, floodplain, but,
you can't build there.
yeah,
from what
I mean,
we
if I wanted to haul in a bunch of dirt, maybe eventually.
Okay, my question just simply is that what is going to be
Yes.
located, as
Yes.
far as you know, in
Yes.
the near
Yes.
future?
Yes, sir.
Yes.
Just the office in that structure.
Nothing else I mean, this is a really large lot.
Right, but it's not usable land because of the floodplain situation. The house and there's enough room, for a
Thank-
driveway and a house, I'm sorry.
I think a business is better in a floodplain than a residence.
Right. But I
So,
mean,
What I'm saying, it's
Oh.
safer for public safety that a business being closer to a floodplain than a
yes,
residence.
yes, because we're not gonna be there at night when the water rises. We're
Yeah.
not gonna
But the
have.
house is not in the floodplain.
No, and and from what we understand from our investigation, the lake that I believe Mr. Guthrie owns, that's to the east of it, and then the drainage area to the south of the house takes care of most of the flood waters. Are there any other questions, or?
Yes, ma'am.
Oh.
I'm really torn on this one because the houses that we voted on back there in that subdivision, I personally voted not to have them in there because they are in the floodplain.
Mhm.
And considering that your lot is in the floodplain, I'm having a really hard time, actually wanting to approve this. I consistently have voted against, houses or anything in a floodplain, and I'm not comfortable with that.
Well, we're not building anything new. We're working with an existing structure, and we're working in with the existing future use plan that the city established. So we're just asking that it be brought up to date with the city's future use plans, and we're not asking for a new structure. We're just dealing with the existing structure.
That is not in the floodplain.
Right,
I'd rather have a business in that structure than a family in that structure.
yeah. I mean, it's a good use for where it is and for the condition of the property and all. It would be a good use of it.
Yeah. The future land use does show that area as a business park,
Yes,
including in the floodplain.
yes.
So, but you're not gonna put a business park in that area.
We are just wanting to put an office in the existing structure. Changing it from the use as a residential structure to an office.
And you're sure, all I have is the map that I have right here that shows the floodplain. And it's really hard to distinguish from this map and what you're saying.
With the, and if I can just add a little bit to this, and she's kind of touched on it, there's no building plans, they don't intend at this point to build anything else in it, so alls we're doing is basically allowing the use that they're planning on doing, which is real estate with the existing building. And so that's what we're approving is the allowed use, and when we look at those rezones, similar to a couple that we looked at prior, we're looking at for what does our future land use look like is the allowed use or the potential use of that property. Is it the best use of that area, of that property? So when you talk about not allowing those other houses, that was more on the plating side and the subdivision side, that we didn't approve those, or we weren't gonna approve them because of the floodplain. This is a little bit different in that we're talking about the allowed use of that property. So it does meet the comprehensive plan, it meets the surrounding zoning. So that's what our decision is typically based off of.
I know, I personally have a house in the flood zone, I have a business in the flood zone. And the one I'm concerned about, my family, my safety is my home. And when I look at flood zones, most likely, if it's flooding, you're not gonna go to work, you know? To me, it's public safety issues when it comes to flood zones. We can do nothing, a family can move in there instantly. And let's just say that dam fails, or, you know, so we hit 52 inches of rain, that family's gonna be affected. We can put a business in there, and that's what someone is dropping, and we could potentially, life will go on, kind of.
Exactly.
Great.
Any other
Very good.
questions?
Any other comments or questions?
Would anybody else like to see the floodplain map? I have more copies if you'd like to.
Let me see.
Okay. That is a survey of the flood.
But if we were talking about building a structure, then the floodplain stuff would really come into play, especially on our side, on the building side, in the building official side. But for this particular case, for the rezone, the floodplain, the structure's already there. It's already an existing structure, so, you can look at it. I don't think that should weigh heavily on the decision for the rezone.
Thank you.
Okay, thank you.
Is there anybody else who wishes to speak in favor of this? Okay, seeing none. Is there anybody who wishes to speak against this rezone? Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, then I'll open it up to discussion among the commissioners. Commissioners, do you have any other questions on this? Then I will entertain a motion to accept or deny public hearing case number RZ 2017-003.
I motion that we accept.
Second.
Motion has been made by Woodrow, seconded by Mr. Muncy. Any discussion? All those in favor, say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Me. And that motion passes. Thank you very much. Our next issue is a public hearing. This is case number RZ 2017-004.
Applicant Fernando Soto is requesting a rezone of the property located at 645 North McCart, being Lot 3N, Block 10 of Shepard and Collins edition of the City of Stephenville, from industrial to R3 multifamily. The property is served by a 6-inch city water main located on McCart Street. Property served by a 6-inch sanitary sewer main located on McCart Street. Property is fronting McCart Street, which is maintained by the city. The property for which the R3 is requested is surrounded to the north, south, and east by industrial district. To the west of the property across from McCart is multifamily district. Staff does not have any objection to this rezone property of 645 North McCart. The proposed zoning aligns with the comprehensive plan and similar zoning nearby. So, McCart, you see that it's industrial there. Across the way is multifamily, and our future land use calls for it to be multifamily.
Thank you, Jeremy. I'll open up the public hearing. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak in favor of this rezone? Is there anybody who wishes to speak against this rezone? Seeing none of either, I'll close the public hearing, and I will open this up to discussion among the commissioners about this. Commissioners, do you have any questions on this?
Jeremy, is the water and sewer sufficient for a dense population? I mean, we're looking at putting a bunch of R3 in there. This is seems small to me, but I don't know.
You know, we haven't seen, you know, any building plans, what they plan on building there. I don't think it's gonna be a, you know, large complex if they do. I think I heard of like 4 units, but
That's a pretty big area, though.
that's what I hear. I mean, we haven't seen any building plans yet, so we'd have to evaluate at that point
would
if we
address it at
didn't.
that.
So we would address it with the building part of it, not necessarily the zoning. But it's a good question, and depending on the size of that, how big our concern will be.
I personally have a problem, even entertaining this, rezoning, because there's nobody here to speak for it or against it. And if you won't take the time to come forward and speak for something that you want, I really have a problem with us actually entertaining this.
Anybody hear from the Sotos or talk to anybody?
Well, yeah, I drove the area, and it's a pretty rundown, depressing little space. I like the idea of developing it. I mean, it's kind of lightish, so the thought of doing something with it, I like.
Me too.
Rezoning is just the first step, then they have to come with the plans and all that kind of stuff.
That's correct.
And this is something that we're looking to do with this area anyways, correct? I mean,
That's
this
right.
is
The future land use calls for multifamily, and I think there's quite a bit of residential around that area.
Yeah, so while I agree with you, I also am inclined to approve just because I want this area developed.
I understand, I just would, I would think that if you cared enough about this and wanted to build something, you would actually be here tonight
I know.
to tell us why.
I
So,
wish they were, I'd love to hear
I
about
know,
it.
and that's why I really have a hard time even entertaining this, since there's nobody here to speak in favor of it. So,
Can we just,
Woodrow, go ahead.
why don't we just table it
Yeah,
until they
well,
immediately show up?
We can table or make a motion.
I motion we table
I'd
it.
say
Okay, do you wanna make the motion?
Yeah, I mean, I wanna hear that, I'm kinda like you.
I think you have to either approve or deny it. And if you
Okay.
deny it, then they can come back with another request.
Well, we don't know why they're not here. I mean, maybe they have some
Yeah,
legitimate
exactly.
reason, maybe
Yeah, and they're not
somebody's in the
required,
hospital or
they're not
something. I
required
mean,
to be here, are
yeah.
they?
No.
No.
I went to school with the guy, he's a great guy, and,
I think he is too, and I think he's,
he has his business right there. And that, I've been here 36 years, no one's done nothing with that property. So, it's just, if we don't do nothing, it's just gonna be like, who knows? And
They,
it's a-
and they own the property to, and I'm hoping the map is directional, but to the property to the north, the family owns most of that up
so
there
it's
as
gonna be
well.
vested, it's not like that some guy out of town's gonna,
Right.
sneak
Mhm.
in.
Right.
Well, since we can't do a motion to table, I can make a motion, we approve it.
Second.
Okay, motion has been made by Kerry Schindler and seconded by Richard Petronas to approve this rezoning. Is there any other discussion? Hearing none, all those in favor of this rezone signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed, nay. And that passes. All right. Our last item on tonight's agenda is a public hearing for case number RZ 2017-005.
Applicant Bo Mayo, who is here, he can speak on his behalf, is requesting a rezone of the property including 1381. Bear with me for a second, there's a couple different addresses for this property. 1381 South Highway 108, 1491 South Highway 108, 1000, 1010, 1062, and 1146, and 1198 of Old High Cove Road, being approximately a 5.56 acre tract out of land of the John B. DePie survey, A0196, City of Stephenville. He wants to zone it from B2 retail commercial to multifamily. The comprehensive use for that land is retail commercial. The building regulations you have included in your packet. Property is served by a 16-inch city water main located on Old High Cove Road. Property is served by a 6-inch sanitary sewer main located on Old High Cove Road. The property is partially fronting Highway 108, which is maintained by TxDOT, and Old Hyco Road, which is maintained by the city. The existing zoning in the area for the property is R3 zoning, is requested, is bound to the north and east by retail commercial, and to the west is retail and commercial with some agricultural. The rezone of the properties at those addresses listed is not consistent with the comprehensive plan, nor is it harmonious with the current zoning. The property has been developed for commercial the past year with 3 commercial developments. Mr. Bo Mayo is here. You can ask him questions about what his plans and intentions for the property are.
Okay. I'll now open the public hearing, and if there's anybody who wishes to come forward, please come to the podium and state your name and address for us, please.
Hi there. Bo Mayo, I live at 2699 County Road 223 in Stephenville. Can we show you guys some pictures of what's on the property right now?
Sure.
On the 108 side of the property is Stable House Apartments, and that's, the 108 side is pretty much developed. What we're looking at doing is improving the Old Hyco Road side, and, on the Old Hyco Road side right now, there's several houses. There's 4 houses and a trailer house over there. What I'd like to do is go in there and improve that area, get rid of that old trailer house and some of those older, more dilapidated houses, and build some new duplexes, townhomes type stuff there. I know this, Jeremy said the 20-year plan was commercial, but there's really not a opportunity on the Old Hyco Road side for commercial. There's not the traffic. I mean, I wouldn't put a business back there. There's just not a whole lot of people that go by there. You know, what we want to do is go in there and improve the area, so.
So, I'm sorry, do you own all these houses?
Yes,
Are these all
ma'am.
rental
Yes,
properties?
yes, ma'am, they are.
currently?
Uh-huh.
Okay.
Yeah.
And is it currently R1 and you're just wanting to put in
No,
something denser?
it's commercial, it's B3.
But there's houses on it?
Yes.
Okay.
So when it was taken into the city, I guess, Jeremy will know more about this than I do. All this stuff was already there. So really what I'm asking for is for you guys to rezone it to what it's currently being used for. And so we can go in there and improve it and, make the area back there look nicer. I don't see anything commercial wanting to go in on that Old Hyco Road side. I mean, they're just not, nobody goes, I bet 90% of the people in this town don't even know where that road is. It's kinda stuck back in there. And the area back there is not, there's some more dilapidated type properties back there, and I believe that we can go in there and make it look nicer.
So you're looking to take down each of these buildings
Not-
and put
not
up
all
a new,
of them.
or?
No, not all
Okay.
of them. I would take the old trailer house out, and then probably, for sure the trailer house. I'd like to build a new duplex right there. And then, those other 2 houses on the other end, there's a little white house, it's pretty old, and I'd like to take it out and build something new there as well.
And is the Stable House Apartments yours as well, or is that?
Yes, ma'am, yeah.
Okay,
So it was all one property when I bought it.
okay.
And then, I actually sold sold a piece to Elliott Electric there, and they built their building there, and then I built Fastenal and the new feed store that's there.
So, with the new commercial businesses going out there, I mean, anywhere you have commercial land, you'd rather sell commercial land than residential land, but, why do you think that they moved out there? I mean, just because it's on the 108 side?
Yes, the 108 side has 6,600 people a day that drive past it. The old Hyco Road side probably has 6. So, it's just, the 108 side, the commercial, I think when they took that in, when the city looked at taking it in, I think they were looking at the traffic on 108. That is a great commercial location, but what I'm wanting to do is develop the Old Hyco Road side clean it up and make it nice back there. And there's just not commercial opportunity back there. I wouldn't want my business back there.
Do you think you'll come back in a couple years and like ask for a replat, or would it have to be replatted to get that one lot back on the commercial side, the 108 side? I guess that's where the stable houses are, huh?
Yes.
Or whatever
So
they're called.
if you look, yeah,
Stable house
this
apartments.
is what's on 108 right here.
And you on that?
Yes.
Yeah.
So I'd like to rezone, and this rezone would take in that building as well.
So there's already pre-existing multifamily living there on this. And you did the property over there by the, College Farm Road, right?
Yep. Mhm.
And that was an eyesore, and you made it beautiful.
Thank you.
I have a question for
Go ahead, Mr. Thomas.
Jeremy. I take it that the staff is not recommending approval because it does not correspond to the comprehensive plan or is not otherwise harmonious with current zoning. Is that correct?
That's right.
What about, I had a chance to drive out there this weekend, pardon me, and Old Hyco Road is barely wide enough for one car.
Uh-huh.
How many people are you expecting to possibly move in here, and how's that gonna affect the road out there? I mean, it's not wide at all.
Yeah, it's not very wide. But I think it's similar to a lot of other streets in this town that aren't very wide. There's not much traffic back there.
But there would be if you built back there. You're gonna have, rather than 6 cars a day, you're gonna have maybe 600, or not 600, but 60 or more back there.
Possibly. Uh-huh.
That's a very narrow road back there. How do you propose to address that?
Well, I don't think there's gonna be a problem with the road, with the traffic, but, yeah, we just got through doing a development on College Farm Road, and that thing is really narrow.
Right.
It's gonna, whatever I do over there, it's gonna be better than it is now, I can tell
Right.
you.
Your entrance is gonna be on Old Hyco Road. The entrance to
Yes,
this
sir,
addition.
yes, sir, yes, sir. Anything new we build, we wouldn't do anything on the 108 side.
Yeah, he develops. You know, he's done a lot of that property, you know, he's brought 2 businesses in, you know, he's cleaned up other properties, this guy's invested.
Is this gonna be spot zoning though? I mean, how does this look in terms of,
Yeah.
But that road, you know, it's between Higginbottom's and Slosson's Roofing.
Designer Mount,
Right.
Marbles over there.
Are you talking
No.
Yes, sir, it's down
Yeah, it's
closer-
down further.
Yeah, it's down closer to the, South Loop there, yes, sir.
Yeah.
Barnes and McCullough.
On 108, but the old Hyco Road, right, Zach? Not Higginbottom's, I mean.
Barnes and McCullough.
Barnes and
Yeah.
McCullough,
Mhm.
Slauson.
See,
I drove down it, looked at it, and looks like, I've seen what this
is
man has
it?
done.
I mean, I kinda think it
He
would
does
might be
amazing
spot
work, and
zoning.
if you want to beautify Stephenville, this is a way to beautify Stephenville, you know?
Bo's fixed up houses all over town, and I live on East Lawn, there's been a few over there that
Yeah.
were disaster areas that he's fixed up, so.
Well, whatever I do, I plan to take pride in it, it's gonna look nice.
Right.
Well, all the businesses that have moved out there to that portion are existing businesses. It's not like we're bringing in more businesses to this town, but more people live here.
Yes, well, there's not, to me, there's commercial properties sitting vacant all over town. Do we need more commercial? But I've got rental properties, we have a demand for rentals, we have a demand for affordable housing. And that's what I wanna do back here.
Apartments, not single family.
Well, some of those houses, I would just take the house out and build a duplex right there. And then what I'd like to do is expand, that stable house back more towards the, Old Hyco Road side, so.
How many units are in the stable house now?
There's 8 units in the apartment building, and then there's one barn apartment beside it that has 1 unit. There'd be 9 total there.
And they stay full?
Yes, ma'am.
Would they be able to go to 108, say like, you built these, is there gonna be some kind of pathway for those guys that own duplexes to go to 108? and exit
I
into
don't think
traffic?
so, Woodrow, I don't think so. They wouldn't be able to drive across. I mean,
Drive across.
maybe, but right now, I don't
I could see
think.
how that would help with the traffic issue.
Yeah.
Jeremy, do you know how long ago that the city took it in. I'm just wondering because these businesses moved out there. I know Fastenal and I guess Rock and R Ranch moved out there fairly recently.
Yes.
Did they move out there thinking they were gonna be clustered with a bunch of other businesses that would attract traffic out that way or?
Rock and R moved out there because Fastenal was there.
Yeah.
And, like I said, really, I think
don't
the
know.
108 side is the good side for commercial, and the back side is more of a residential area.
Jeremy, what of that, Jeremy?
Good, let's-
Would it be spot zoning if we were to do something like that? If we did along the 108, all commercial and residential along Old Hyco, is that all it would be, is just a little narrow strip of residential? And is that problematic? Because I mean, I like the idea of along 108 being, commercial.
I
And the
mean-
houses back there don't seem I mean, I like your idea, but is it a problem for our future growth?
You know, if we look at our comprehensive plan, it is, I mean, and even if you look at zoning, it is. Now, you know, when we revisit and update our comprehensive plan, will we have another look at it and maybe say that that needs to be a residential on the 108 side? That's a possibility from the staff side of it. The only documents I have to go by are what our current zoning are and what our comprehensive plan use are. So, you know, the comprehensive plan is all commercial around that area. So, I mean, that's what I have to go by. And if you do zone that multifamily, you are creating spot zoning.
It's a big spot,
Can't-
though. It's not just a little postage stamp in the middle of it.
Right.
They're already living there.
Yeah, it's already there. It's already being used for that.
And it's the old Hyco Road. I mean, we're talking about something that's, I wouldn't put a business on the old Hyco Road.
How far away is 281? Is that?
Well, you can go across there, on that, Blue Street to get to 281.
It's probably half a mile from Barnes McCullough, I would think, right?
Yeah. I mean, 281 is widening, you know, I don't know if that's gonna bring in more commercial. That's like, kind of the thought is that businesses are gonna start building on 281, but
It's quite a ways from this, place.
That whole area out there is
Industrial and
currently
business, yeah.
zoned retail and commercial out there. The biggest part of the area is, and there is a little bit of spot zoning already in there with an R1 single-family lot and 2 industrial lots out there. But the biggest part that goes between State Highway 108 and up to the Glen Rose Highway, that's all zoned right now B2 retail and commercial business.
Okay.
So I'm having a problem with the spot zoning issue, putting that right in there. I get the fact that there's already houses in there, but I'm not a fan of spot zoning.
So basically, it'll leave the property vacant, except for the houses that are there. No commercial business, if they do any business, is gonna be able to, that road's not gonna handle the traffic from a commercial business if they're a busy.
Right, but who's to say that Rockin' R and Fastenal and Elliott's might not want to expand back into that
Probably
area?
Bo, since
Bo
he
would hope
owns
that
the.
Right, I know,
Since he
I
owns
know
the
it's your area, I'm
property.
just thinking,
I actually own I own those buildings too, so.
So he cares about those
Yeah.
businesses.
right.
There's houses behind them now. If I tear an old junky house down and build a nice new house right there, I don't believe it's not gonna affect them.
If anything's gonna help that feed store.
Yeah, this is spot zoning right here.
public hearing has to go through.
Maybe
That's what I
Costco will buy some
would
dog
like to get
food.
rid of and put a commercial, something there, and then do it
And
back.
he may do that. Yeah, I think all this needs to be commercial and all that needs to
Yeah,
be.
that's what I'm thinking. Like, is there a way to?
Okay.
Well, he
All right.
owns it all.
Is there any other questions for Mr. Mayo? Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
I'll now open the floor to anybody, if there's anybody here that opposes this rezoning. Seeing none, I'll close the public hearing, and I'll turn it back to the commissioners. Do you have any other comments, questions, concerns on this rezone?
My question is just, this is a 20-year master
That's right. Done in 2008.
I think this man's invested a lot of time, effort, he's already done 2 great businesses. No one's gonna use that old Hyco highway for businesses. You know, a smart businessman probably wouldn't do it. And we wanna beautify Stephenville, we need to vote yes. If you don't wanna do nothing, it'll stay ugly, still will look like, I mean, I've drove that whole area there, it doesn't look great. And
I agree, but I also, you know, part of our job is to look far in the future.
I know.
Far in the future for how things will develop.
my
And
20-year
so-
plan, I wasn't gonna be a barber.
I,
You know,
I am all for development and making things pretty, God knows.
a smart man will be able to adapt and move. And this is a time that we know that most people wouldn't put a business in that old Hyco High Road. We can be smart and adapt, or we can stick with it and be a rut.
But three businesses have moved out there in the last.
On the 108
On
side.
the 108
That was,
side,
yeah.
We're
not on
talking
the
about
old Hyco
developing
Road
on the
side.
opposite side.
Yeah.
He's not talking about building these things on 108. He's talking about developing this on the old Hyco side that probably 6 to 10 people drive down a day. And it might increase 60 to 80 to 100, maybe that road, even though it's narrow, can handle a little bit higher volume. It's not the prettiest road. It's probably one. It's not a pretty road, but it's gonna work.
And the road is a big concern for me, with cars coming both ways. Is there gonna be enough room for that?
Yes, sir.
You think so?
Yes, sir.
Okay.
If people can park on Friday and go down that during school hour, it'll work.
Hey, Jeremy, do y'all ever do like percentage of how much commercial land we have planned and what percentage is being used versus how much residential land we have and what percentage is being used?
We do have that. I don't have it with you.
Yeah, I just wondered, like off the top of your head. Just seems like there's a lot of commercial land and we need the residential, so. And it's being used that way already, right now, and, you know, I mean, we can always,
All this land to the right of this, what is that currently being used for? The big swath of green at the bottom and on top, are those developed or those empty?
That's a wheat pasture.
like hard eights out there for the.
Okay, so potentially, were we to maybe, let's just be crazy here and somehow amend the future plan, that could be residential instead?
Mhm.
I mean, because it's currently not anything? I'm wondering how thoughtfully that was included in the future growth plan. Was it just like, well, this seems like a good place for commercial? You know what I mean? Because it's not developed and.
There are businesses that go along.
Within
that go
there,
along here. There's,
yeah.
security storage is here, there's, a couple of bail bonds, there's, trailer, it's a trailer refurbishing company, it's
Okay, so
all-
there's
all along
a lot
here,
of
right there.
businesses on there.
Hard 8 is right across the street right there, and then
Okay.
there's, well, not residences, but businesses.
Yeah.
So this is all, there are commercial businesses out here in this area already.
But on the corner of 108, and there's also multifamily right down the road from that. So, I mean, right down the road from the golf cart place on the corner of Hard 8, whatever, Bo, you have a bunch of duplexes just right on the edge, don't you?
It's outside the city.
It's outside the city, it's the first thing outside the city limits, isn't it?
Is commercial zoning de facto zoning whenever you bring it in, pretty much?
No, not
You didn't
necessarily.
zone it commercial, did you? Or-
Oh, you mean me, myself? No, I mean, like, or the city.
You weren't here.
Right.
You weren't here.
Typically, and I'm gonna say typically without any experience to make this, but you typically zone it with your comprehensive plan when it comes in as an annexed property. Now, the landowner of the property can contest that at that point, and I'm not saying that with any authority, because I've never annexed any property from the planning and building side, but that's the way I understand that process goes.
I'll make a motion.
Hang on just a second. I think, Justin, you had a comment?
Oh, I was just going to comment that this seems like the city is being offered a gift in this example, and even though the narrow road is a concern, perhaps it's just the country in me, but I did grow up on a dirt road, and when the road was too narrow, you know, people would just drive very slowly and get off on the edge of the road, and it never ended up being much of an issue for me. I think it won't be a safety issue or anything like that. I believe that if we do accept this, this will improve Stephenville, and I will be voting for it.
Okay, all right. Thank you, Justin. Any other comments, commissioners? Okay, now I'll entertain a motion to either accept this rezoning case or to deny it.
I'll make a motion, while I heed the advice of council, staff, I think it'd be in the best interest of Stephenville to accept.
I'll second it.
Okay, motion has been made by Kerry Schindler and seconded by Mr. Muncy to accept case number RZ 2017-005, the rezoning request. All those in favor of accepting this signify by saying aye.
Aye.
All those opposed?
Nay.
Nay. That passes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. Jeremy, do you have anything else for us tonight?
Exciting
Before we
news,
adjourn?
we should be reviewing applications for the director position soon, within the end of the week. We are gonna hold a town hall meeting, we're thinking sometime in November, to review the sign ordinance that you guys proposed, as well as the new subdivision ordinance that we're currently under review, so the public will have a chance to comment on both of those. That's all I got.
Okay. I'll entertain a motion, if there's nothing else, I'll entertain a motion to adjourn so that we can move into our workshop.
So moved.
Okay. Motion has been made, do I hear a second?
Second.
Motion has been made and seconded to adjourn. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.